During the war, the only Confederate capital that was not captured under arms was Tallahassee. There were several reasons for that. One of the reasons was it's basically tactical unimportance. It wasn't a major port. It didn't sit at the crossroads of any great roads to and from which armies needed to travel. I don't want to say it was a backwater, but at the same time, it just wasn't that critical for the feds to want it. But eventually, as with all things fed, they wanted it. So in early part of '65, they landed troops at Jacksonville. 90, what we know as 90 now, ran essentially along the old Spanish Road. It was the only road, the only coast-to-coast road. I mean, it led to Cali from Jacksonville and vice versa and onward over into Mobile. Anyway, during that time, during what is known as the Olustee campaign, Olustee, or as they called it, the Battle of Ocean Pond, was fought, gosh, I don't know, 50, 60 miles east of here. We're standing right now about 75 miles west of Tally. So in preparation or in anticipation of a two-pronged attack coming up the Suwannee from the Gulf, the Confederate Army and militia built earthworks here. That's what these mounds are that we're seeing right now. This is an old cistern, but these rises in the ground are earthworks. These are what the Confederate Army, militia, probably some slaves, threw up, which was a common, very popular form of fortification during that war. It was essentially developed during that war because the cannon shot would fall into the earth and explode, and that would be it. It wouldn't do like it would do if it was made out of wood or stone, which would be to explode the stone, throw the stone in the wood and everything else all over the place. It was basically just thud, and this could be done very, very quickly. So they threw up earthworks on this side of the river, and right over that stand of trees there, right down at the bottom of that is the Suwannee. And so on the other side of the Suwannee, they would have had these same earthworks. I'm not sure what this wooden structure represents. There's no possible way it's from the Civil War, but this piece of wood that it's holding possibly could be, although I don't know why you'd keep something that precious and that fragile sitting out there like that. But anyway, so if we're imagining this area during that time, there would have been guns throughout here, 2 or 3, 4 different batteries, 2 or 3, 4 different guns, probably not much more than Napoleon's. This wasn't, this wasn't the major Eastern European theaters of the war. This was, if anything, a backwater. The war was winding down in Virginia. I mean, in February of '65, Lee's days were numbered in hours, and he knew it. But everybody else knew it. This was nothing more. This campaign was nothing more than some glory seekers causing unnecessary death. But you can imagine the hub of activity that would have been not only here. There would have been, a couple dozen guys here manning the guns, but in the surrounding areas, bivouacked, there would have been countless people, and they would have been a beehive of activity. I mean, they would have been, people down here were home guard and second string, third string army, so they wouldn't have seen a whole lot of action. Here's a train for my honey bunches. train, baby. He's taking forever. So, in anyone who was stationed here, officer, whatever, they would have just been tickled pink to have this kind of action. I mean, they were not sick of the war. They hadn't seen any of the war. None of the war had come down this way. So, they would have been very happy to have all that activity going on. This is part of the old sawmill ruins. That is an actual ruins. This is where the sawmill was, the Drew sawmill. So right on what were Confederate earthworks, and who knows how extensive they were. That's just what's left. They could have gone all the way down here. We know for sure they were on the other side. They had them situated to get both ways, to fire both ways, enfilading their fire. So who knows how long they would have been. But again, I know there would have been a lot of very excited dudes. Olustee is the only major Civil War battle fought in the state of Florida. And that's significant. So we're going to shut it down. We're going to check out this Columbus Cemetery. And we're going to head on out of here.